You're cruising down the highway when, vroom, a motorcycle blows by you, and then another and another. And upon close inspection, you realize these are women underneath those helmets and leather jackets. Are you surprised? Well, you'd better get used to it. What used to be the ultimate macho symbol is now a fun form of transportation for some 500,000 women. What attracts some women to biking? We wanted to know, so we enlisted Katie Abel to hitch a ride with the Moving Violations, an all-women's biking club formed 5 years ago.
It was sunny when I left my house. We're not wearing our rain suits because we're wimps. We're wearing our rain suits to make the rain stop.
Riders on the storm. Riders on the storm.
Now, this was supposed to be one of those fun stories TV producers look forward to. A nice break from the steady news magazine diet of medical miracles and family tragedies. All I had to do was spend a weekend in the Berkshires with a group of women bikers. But if my hopes for an easy assignment weren't entirely dashed, they were certainly splashed upon the morning we set forth.
Now, do you always do this, wait for the rainy day and then get on the bike and go?
Specifically because riding in the rain is such fun. Right. We enjoy it. This way we don't have to shower. We're just going to have to take it slow. You know, we're not going to go zooming down here at 60 miles an hour. Let's try 50 and see how that feels.
Why would you want to be out in the pouring rain riding a bike when you could be home reading Ladies' Home Journal?
Yeah, I think of that myself, too. I think it'd be great, you know? It'd be great to be home. But I always know it's not going to rain forever.
If you're a member of the Moving Violations, by all accounts the biggest women's motorcycle club in New England, you're not the type to let a little rain keep you off the road.
Okay, welcome to the 6th annual Berks Run.
Meet one of the original violators, Peg Preble. She's been riding for 16 years and is the proud owner of a Kawasaki.
I like this one because it's simple. Just before all of the space bikes came out with all the plastic and the electronics this and the electronic fuel injection and all these things you can't fix at the side of the road. If you have a fight with your bike, you throw new spark plugs in, you make up. It's not like a person where it takes so much longer to diagnose the problem.
Peg knows a lot about diagnosing problems with bikes since she's the group's unofficial mechanic.
On a run, you end up, everybody comes, oh, you know what, my bike's making this weird noise. You also get a lot of friends that way, too. 3 in the morning, my bike is stuck, remember me?
To Dee Smith, that's what makes the club feel like family.
If my bike broke down at 3 in the morning in New Hampshire, I know I could call someone and they'd come. They'd get out of the bed, put on their clothes, and get their truck and come pick me up and you know, take me to a gas station or somewhere. There are friendships that will outlast the riding that we do, although I hope to ride as long as I can kick my leg over the bike.
Let's have a fun, safe ride. Women do, and they don't regret it. Woo! Yeah, come, baby.
Westward ho! Next stop for the violators, a little lunch spot they call the Fork Drop Cafe.
The Fork Drop Cafe is when a bunch of us get together and we go into any small restaurant and we walk in with our leathers on and everybody goes, oh! And drops their forks and you hear the forks clatter on everybody's plate. And that's a Fork Drop Cafe, and we can make it happen anywhere.
Fork Drop Follies even inspire a Moving Violations talent show.
We thought you was men. You mean they're girls?
It's just amazing to me that people are amazed that because I'm a woman, I may not be smart enough, strong enough, brave enough, whatever it takes to ride a motorcycle.
Robin Romaine is another of the bike club's founding mothers, as well as its resident artist. Did you ever ride on the back of somebody's bike and kind of wish you could move to the front?
Yeah, that's how, you know, a lot of us all started off, you know, riding in high school behind your buddy or whatever, you know, whatever it was. And then, yeah, I just knew I loved it.
It was the same scene for Ingrid Sell, now a secretary at MIT.
I was on the back. It never even occurred to me. I didn't even think that I could ride a motorcycle until I met Robin. She was riding for a few years before I had met her, and she was so small, and she could handle the bike just fine. I was like, well, if she can do it, I can.
Women on the back of the bike, not unlike in an earlier era, African Americans at the back of the bus. The move to the front represents power, freedom, a refusal to settle for second-class status. And how have male riders reacted?
Most of them are, you know, really friendly and really happy, and, you know, they see you come by and they go, all right, you know, and I don't know if it's because, you know, their wives are at home or girlfriends and say, I don't want to go riding with you or what, but in general, I find them to be very supportive.
Violator Woody Woodward has been riding for 20 years. She's crossed Australia on the back of her bike and once broke down in the Sahara Desert. Do you care if anybody on the road knows you're a woman, or do you want them to know?
I like little kids to notice that it's a woman riding the bike, you know, when they look over at you. But in the other situations, like driving to Florida or whatever, and I'm on 95 heading south, and you get people who are just wanting to antagonize motorcycles, in some ways I don't really want them to know that I'm a woman because I feel twice as vulnerable.
But for any biker, male or female, there is good reason to feel vulnerable on the open road. Robin Romaine lost her leg in an accident 4 years ago in Keene, New Hampshire.
We got hit broadside, left side, from a speeding driver who just lost control of his car, and I was the first one to be hit. And the guy received a $55 fine for crossing the double line.
So you didn't say to yourself, gee, if I hadn't been on a motorcycle, I wouldn't have lost my leg?
Yeah, well, you know, you can only kick yourself so much, and but it was just a real bad break I got. It was just one in a million things, you know.
The moving violations motto is take it slow and keep it tight. Safety is the top priority. The group travels in careful formation, even if that means blocking traffic in Williamsburg and getting a reprimand from the local police chief.
When you put the block on the road back there, that's okay in Canada. It's against the law in Massachusetts. So I just, you know.
Well, usually when we get stopped by the police, we have our picture taken with them.
Oh, yeah.
You want to come have your picture taken with them?
Sure, I don't care.
Oh, come on, come on. You come, okay?
Sure.
Group photo with the officer.
We got moving violations. Moving violations. Take it slow, we keep it tight. We ride all day and we play all night.
We're law-abiding citizens. We go to work, you know, we come home, we're homeowners, we have dogs, we have cats.
And in Dee Smith's case, fish. Now, this woman's bike will not spend the winter in hibernation.
Definitely got to get gas.
Monday through Friday, comes snow, sun, sleet, or hail, Dee will ride up 128 from Boston to her job in Lincoln.
If you're in a car, you don't smell like the forest or the flowers or the cow pastures. It's indescribable.
At work, Dee hooks up with another violator, Marjorie Charney. One trip to the ladies' room, and they've made the transition from bikers to office workers.
We have lawyers, we have nurses, we have a doctor, we have teachers, we have accountants, and we have our first kid who's 13.
Toby Gallagher has been riding with her mom since she was 3.
Mom came to pick me up at school one time on the bike, and I was riding away, and I waved at this guy I knew, and he said, "Hey, that's cool!" And I was like, okay, fine.
And this isn't the only mother-daughter duo in the club. Michelle Sharon brought her 73-year-old mother Esther to the Berkshire weekend, though not on the back of a bike.
I tried a year or so ago to convince her to ride on a friend's motorcycle who I trusted very much. Just wasn't quite ready, but maybe next year.
Not your thing.
No, I have quite a few other hobbies. I knit and crochet, and then I also go to dancing class.
It means so much to me to have her here and to accept me and to be part of my life as I am, for who I am.
So you want to ride, Toby?
I most definitely do. I even got the bike I want all picked out.
What kind of bike you want?
An Eliminator. I gotta have it, you know, so.
So when is she going to be ready, Mom?
When she's 16 and takes a Motorcycle Safety Foundation course. I think that introduces a new generation.
Baby, step aside if you don't wanna ride, because I'll be ready to. Don't be ready. I'll be ready to show.
All right, get your motor running. Besides having a lot of fun, the Violators, as they call themselves, also get involved in community fundraisers. Every year they hold an annual run to raise money for battered women's shelters.
Well, I'm not sure if the woman in our next story is somebody who's ridden on a
Maybe.
motorcycle,
She's
but
done
I
most
wouldn't be
anything else, huh?
surprised. She has done just about everything else, and she's done just fine. She is Paula Zahn, co-host of CBS This Morning and a Channel 7 News alumna.